Hello everyone, Dave here with some thoughts on another knife for you guys. Actually it's a model of knife or type of knife that we're going to be looking at tonight. Just by looking there, many of you will be familiar with what are balisong knives, specifically Benchmade Balisong knives. And though some of them may be familiar to you, maybe some of them are a little bit different. So starting out, I mean, I've always had an appreciation and sort of an attraction to the balisong knives, and some of these guys date back to around 1993, 1994-ish. So they've been around a long time and have seen a lot of use, and you know, it's just something that's been around for a while. So I dug them out and cleaned some of them off, and here we are. So as you guys are probably most familiar with, and the current model from Benchmade, their Balisong model number 42, titanium handles, 154 cm steel, spring latch. There we go. I'm not going to be flipping it due to my setup here. I just don't have the space for it. So, as you guys are familiar with, you've seen this guy. There are a bunch of reviews out there. There's some awesome videos of guys doing some flipping with it, doing all types of aerials, all kinds of cool stuff. It's really evolved from what it used to be. Back in the day, you were lucky to find a little catalog or a book that showed you the different techniques, and you were very fortunate if you actually found someone that was proficient enough to actually teach you. Usually a lot of it was just what you could pick up on your own. But anyway, there's tons of stuff out there. You guys are familiar with the Model 42. Check out some. Cutlery Lover has some great videos on it. I know he's intimately familiar with the Model 42. He's phenomenal with some of the tricks that he can do and the manipulation. So definitely check out some of his stuff. You know, I don't need to talk too much about it, but I will come back to it just to show you sort of the evolution of how Benchmade's gotten to this guy, and eventually how they've gotten to the evolution of the Model 32, which I'm really impressed with. So we'll come back to these two guys, but that's where we are now. This is the present day, and now let's go back in time a little bit. This model is the Model 239B, I believe. Or 239, Model 239B. This is, like I said, back in circa 1993 or so. The handle is a material called ZAMAK, which you might still be able to find out there. It is an aluminum, I believe, an aluminum zinc alloy. It's got some other stuff in it. Very light. You know, it was pretty, I guess, revolutionary at the time. Cheaper than, I guess, an all stainless steel handle. I'll talk a little bit about price just to give you guys some reference back in the time. But I did get it back in the day. I was very fond of this black powder coating, and I'll show you on one of the other ones. It's held up reasonably well over the time. One of the first things you notice is this T-latch back here. Unlike the 42 and 32 of today's Balisongs, there's no spring. It just sort of flops around. A lot of the guys back in the day would remove that just because it does get in the way when you're doing some manipulation, or it could. It also has the potential of actually getting in the way when you're closing the blade. So, as you can see there, bam, that used to happen a lot when you're starting to learn with it and do stuff like that. So it's a great way to bang up a blade. So it wasn't the best mechanism, and over time it really doesn't do what it's supposed to. It doesn't hold it in place. It just sort of flops around and really gets in the way. So pretty much a useless design there. So we could take a look here. The other thing you'll notice are the linch pin, or the pins up here. They are not removable. They're not adjustable. They are what they are. So, you know, no adjustability there. And as you would manipulate, and I'll show you on another knife, it did wear over time. The steel on this guy is Uddeholm, I believe. It's a Swedish steel. And as you can see, it still holds a great finish. This particular model hasn't seen a lot. It's basically drawer dweller, if you will. Sort of just hangs out in the desk drawer and comes out every now and then to see a little bit of light. But phenomenal. I always loved the shape of the Weehawk blade, and you could sort of see there just how polished it still remains after all these years. You know, I just dusted it off a little bit. Decent edge on there. They were always very sharp, and you know, when you're learning with them, we didn't have training blades back in the day, so this is what you learned on. If you were, I guess, a little bit more careful, you would tape it up, but usually you practice with this type of knife. So you can sort of see here the steel. Some of the interesting things you'll see here, the old Benchmade logo, if I could get it to focus. Let's get in a little closer, and let's let it grab the focus. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. You can see the old Benchmade Balisong logo. There we go. Butterfly with the Balisong. Before they changed it to their modern insignia, and there's a Benchmade USA on the back. Doesn't tell you what type of blade steel it is, but I did look it up after a while, and it's a type of Swedish steel. Rockwell hardness 59 to 60, I believe, so they did get it pretty good in the day. Holds up pretty well. Haven't had to sharpen it much. Like I said, doesn't get much use. Just sort of a collector piece at this point. So there you can see the skeletonized handles. Very cool. But what I was saying too, they still kept the same design, and with this alloy steel, what would happen a lot too, and I'll show you on the one that gets used, is it would wear really rather quickly. Let's see if I could get it to grab the focus again. Come on, camera. Come on, there we go. Get the finger. Focus. Okay, well, we'll try again in a little bit, but okay, there we go. A little bit. Okay, no good. But let's come back to it. Here's another model I picked up around the same time. I was just playing around with them. Essentially the same, with the serrated edge. And they've basically kept the same type of serrations they have throughout the years. Nothing new there. Just a little something a bit different. I've always loved the shape of the Weehawk blade. Very narrow, slim, long blade. A little over 4 inches. Just an really aggressive looking, dangerous looking blade, and you could sort of see where they got their reputation for back in the day when yeah, anyway, I don't need to speak too much about that, but you can see they're very aggressive type of looking blade. Very cool. Now here's the one that I was talking about before. This used to be, or was, still is, kind of my trainer, if you will, or one of the ones that I learned on. It's been beaten up and trashed around over the years. You can see here that black coating finish. It's held up pretty well. Chipped in a lot of places. You can see that ZAMAK coming out underneath it. If we could focus there, if it'll grab it. Come on, camera, do me the favor. You could see how the linchpin, this piece right here, after all its flipping, has literally banged away there. So when the knife opens, you're going to love this. That's a lot of blade play. Basically, you can spin it around. Those pins don't do their work anymore. If I could get it to focus here, probably stab my camera up, but let's do this. You can see how the actual handles themselves are bent out of shape. Instead of being straight, they're more like that, literally from all the use. As many of you are familiar with on Benchmades or on Balisongs, the actual amount of play you want is somewhere along the lines of this. You know, as soon as it gets beyond that, really you want to tighten it up. This guy over the years and with the type of design, wow, look at that. That's a lot of play there. So this guy's been used and abused. The blade on it, through both practice and somewhat use, scratched up pretty well. That mirror finish is pretty much gone on this guy after cleaning it up, but still there. You know, still a decent blade. The tip is a little blunted from being dropped a bunch of times. I haven't done much. The blade, again, a little dull. But Bench Shop might send this one back. Who knows? Let's see what Benchmade can do with it. But a lot of memories there. Like I mentioned, we didn't have trainers back in the day, but now we do. And the steel on this guy, I highly recommend anyone learning Balisongs or doing it, get yourself a trainer. This trainer actually has better steel than the guys in the back. This uses 440C, so kind of interesting. But you know, it's exactly like the Model 42, just with its slimmed down blade. For a lot of banged up use, not much play there, but again, you can tighten the screws on this guy. Let's see, what else? Oh, it looks like we're actually going to go into a part 2, because I still have some more stuff to say on this, so let's see, join me back in a minute, and let's start part 2, okay?